everybody. So, welcome to our drawing exercise in gesture drawing. And what you're going to do for this assignment is you're going to create 10 gesture drawings, okay? And you are going to use your drawing pad. You can do, well, you know what? Scratch that. Let's do 9 gesture drawings because you can essentially fit 3 drawings on each one of your drawing pages. So with that being said, you're going to create 9 gesture drawings, and what I want you to do is you're going to take each one of your drawing pages and you're going to put it in a landscape. So that means that the width is greater than the height, and you're just going to divide it. You're going to divide 3 pieces of drawing paper into 3s. And what I want you to do is I want you to spend about, let's say, 10 to 15 minutes on each one, okay? So what I'm going to do is we're going to take a look. So if you should have already looked at Egon Schiele and Giacometti's work in the module learning materials for this week. If you haven't done that, I want you to stop the video right now and go take a look at those artists' work because their work is directly related to our studies for this week in drawing, okay? So hit pause if you didn't look at the course materials yet. All right, so Giacometti and Egon were widely known for their ability to capture a portion of somebody, a gesture of somebody in just a very short amount of time and a short amount of lines. So the first thing is that, gesture drawing is part of technical drawing, but it's also a very expressive and free way to kind of explore the shape of something. So, and then trying to capture that on paper. So it's a really good first exercise for beginning drawing. And anyways, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and we're going to just take a look at a few sketches. We're first going to look at Giacometti and then we're going to look at Schiele. So let me just turn this layer off. I'm able to do screen recordings in Adobe Fresco on my iPad, so it works out really well. Okay, so here's Giacometti, and so what gesture drawings are they're just a series of very quick marks. So even though I'm saying that you're spending 10 to 15 minutes on each drawing, what I want is for your hand to be working in the form of gesture for the entire time. So the challenge to yourself, and I'm not going to be there while you're doing these drawings to tell you to keep your pencil on your paper, but what I want you to be doing is making continuous lines the entire time that you're doing the gesture drawing. So the goal is to not let your pencil leave the page. And for this exercise, I do usually suggest using a darker lead. So out of your drawing pencil set, you want to be using Bs, preferably, I would probably use a 4B or 6B. And so what you can kind of see here in Giacometti's gesture studies is, these are very quick lines. So I'm going to go ahead and do a little painting here. I'm going to use red so that you can see it real well. See, my lines are pretty bright. And so what you can see that he's doing here is, as he's studying, this is most likely a self-portrait, he's coming in and just trying to capture the main shape and features, but without any real calculated intent, okay? So gesture drawings are meant to feel very rushed. Let me just make my brush a little smaller there. They're meant to feel very rushed, and it's about a continuous movement, and it's about your pen not leaving the paper. So here's the eyes, for example, capturing where the ears are. And what this does is this helps you get shapes down quickly, and it also helps you understand different types of line that can be used, but also how contour lines can function in a drawing. The other thing that's good about gesture drawing is that there's the technical side of drawing, where I would say technical drawing is usually related to replicating things on paper as they exist in the three-dimensional world. And there's a time and a place for that. But a lot of drawing is expression and abstraction, and that's what brings uniqueness and style to a particular piece of artwork or visual content. And so gesture drawing is good for that too. And so you can see he then comes in and kind of focuses on the neck for a few minutes, and then kind of captures the rest of his body. And you can see by the way that it all comes down on the paper, it's very expressive. So when I say 10 to 15 minutes, you should be drawing quickly the entire time. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. So this is a pretty fast drawing. This one is fast as well, but a little bit more calculated. So and every artist has their style of how they kind of approach these. So I want you to, if you can kind of think of it this way, I want you to, when you're doing a gesture drawing, you should be looking at the object that you're drawing more than your actual paper. So you're also getting a feel for the relationship between what your eyes are seeing and how your hand's reacting to that. So as you're doing the gesture drawings, I want you to be looking up away from the paper as much as possible and just trying to record between your eyes and your brain and your hand the main shapes that you're seeing in front of you, okay? Here's a couple of images of Giacometti's figures that he's so famous for, and one thing that you can see here is that he's replicating the figures that he's seeing in the world, but he's also exaggerating them. I mean, these legs are long. This person's way too tall to be an actual human. Looks more like the proportions on like a Barbie doll or something. But that's what he was known for. And you saw his sculpture work, if you've gone through the course materials, the very tall, lengthy, thin sort of characters that are kind of meandering through their world that they exist in. So let's go ahead. I'm going to pull up, I'm going to go ahead and hide that and pull up Egon Schiele here. And so Egon works a little bit more slowly. He's a little bit more calculated. He definitely relies more on contour lines and instead of a lot of like scribbling inside. So I think that if you kind of work in the vein of Giacometti in the beginning and you can kind of work towards concentrating on your contour lines a little bit more as you get into the 7th and 8th and 9th drawing, that could be a good thing. So I still got my my red ink here, and of course this is looking a little bit pixelated, but if I come in here, you can see that when Egon works, it's more of a calculated sort of way that he's laying his lines down, and he's working around the contour, of the figure, whatever it is that he's drawing. So I think after you do the first 6 or so, you can start kind of working on thinking about drawing the features a little less scribbly and being a little bit more calculated, looking down at your paper a little bit more than perhaps you had, So I still think that probably having your pencil not leave the paper is probably a good, just basic rule for this first exercise. And, you can tell that Egon's work is a little bit more illustrative too. His figures are a little bit more flat. This one's pretty pixelated. It's a small image, but you can see here. So the difference between Giacometti's gesture study with all the lots of scribbled uncalculated lines and then Egon's is you can see that what he's able to capture over time is just simple strokes, and you can capture a lot about an individual just in a little bit of lines. So if you turn in a bunch of drawings to me that it look like you spent a lot of time and you're just kind of going back to whatever it is that you're not going to learn anything. So I really want you to concentrate on staring at that object. I'll give you more details as to what that could be here in just a moment. Staring at that object, whatever it is. Don't look down at your paper as much as you can possibly help it, other than accidentally, going off the paper and drawing on the wall or something. Anyways, two great masters at gesture drawing. So I'm just going to, let me turn that one off here. I'm going to turn on a layer. This is just, the first one's a picture of my daughter. She's got a freeze frame of Mad Men going on in the background there. And then I just have a random portrait of somebody from a stock photo site. So I'm going to give you exactly what I'm going to have you do in terms of the gesture studies here in just a moment. But how I want you to kind of approach this is, we'll pretend like this is, you're going to be your own live model a lot for this class. So you are going to be using yourself. But in terms of how you approach it, I'm just going to draw a couple of different things here. I'm going to continue to do that in red so you can see what I'm doing. But, when you're doing the gesture study, you're going to understand and learn your own visual style. So the style that you have when you make a drawing is the same in the sense that you have your own handwriting style. It's the same thing. It's just that most people don't draw enough to understand what their own personal visual style is when it comes to drawing. But, you'll develop that, or you'll start to learn a little bit about what that is, in beginning drawing class. So when you come in and you start the gesture drawing, you can start wherever you want. Human beings tend to start with eyes, So, however you want to sort of approach it. Some artists come in and capture a quick profile and then go back in and, kind of take this approach where they're just making lines. And that's fine. I know that I'm using still photos in my demo, and I apologize for that. That's just the nature of online, right? Because I have to record this material. But, I want you to only use live models, which will be yourself, depending on, maybe you've got roommates, some family members in your house that can pose for you. That would be ideal. But there really aren't any rules to this, okay? I mean, you really can come in and you can draw these 9 drawings however you see fit. With this, we've got a little bit more detail of the face. So maybe I slow down a little bit with this one. Maybe I'm on my 7th and 8th and 9th drawing, and I can slow down a little bit and look for those facial features that stand out to me that I think would make, an expressive gestural drawing of whatever object it is that I'm looking at. Make my drawing tool a little bit larger there. So anyways, so what are you going to do? What are the rules? Well, let me just go ahead and shut everything down. All right, so what you are going to do for this assignment is you are going to do nine drawings total. The first 3 should be, I think these should be probably studies in the mirror. of your face. So these should be self-portraits. So let's go ahead and start with that. And then 4 through 6, I would say these need to be full figures. Probably. And these can either be you in a longer mirror, or it could be somebody that you live with, or maybe somebody close to you that you see on a regular basis. So 3 portraits, 3 full figures, and then for 7 through 9, you can actually go ahead and do just objects in your house. So I would just pick an area. We'll get to more technical still lifes here in the coming weeks, but just pick an area in your house. Maybe one could be the kitchen table. There's some flowers on the kitchen table. Places like that. Maybe a chair. We'll get into perspective and technical stuff with chairs and that later, but maybe a chair, maybe somebody sitting in a chair. That could be good. So yeah, we'll do portrait studies in mirror, full figures of not yourself if you can. If not, no big deal. Find a larger mirror, and then objects in your house. And so, like I said, I want you to spend 10 to 15 minutes on each of these. And then what you're going to do is you're going to document these the best that you can, and you're going to turn them into Canvas. So try to get the best picture that you possibly can of them for me. And yeah, I think that'll be it. So when you get these ready, you want to, you can probably just do these right out of your drawing pad. You can just use your drawing pad. You can use your drawing board too if you like. So what I would do is if you want to use your drawing board, which is a little bit more stable than your drawing pad, you could take that paper out, tape it down with the artist tape so you don't rip your paper, and go ahead and complete these gestural studies. All right, well, let me know if you have any questions. Okay, bye.